Oh, girl. she got, you got the breasts is good. At what point do you think this is too big? This is hilarious. Oh my god. Hey there everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, hi, I'm Chris, aka Knotty Bear, an amigurumi designer, crocheter, and crafty person here on YouTube, and I put out new videos every single week. So if any of that sounds good to you, be sure to stick around. This week I thought we'd do something a little bit fun, a little bit different for me, and dive into the world of crochet Reddit, which I've never been a part of. As someone who owns my own business, I've done a lot of social media marketing, and I've pretty much used all the social media at this point. However, Reddit is one I've never really touched. Obviously, as a person of the internet, I Google things, am I dying? And I get a search result, usually on Reddit, getting some medical advice or some professional advice. I'm not telling you to go do that, but I'm sure a lot of you do as well, and they'll let you know what's going on. But that is my extent of the use of Reddit. However, recently a pattern blew up. You've probably seen it. I think it's called the Mushroom Kid, and now I have to actually look up who made it. I think it was... The designer is Critter Stitch Designs, which I'm sure a lot of you heard about this. It went viral everywhere. I saw it a bunch. However, I didn't know the exact origin stories of it. I just saw a lot of this pattern being made online. But then I heard someone say that it actually blew up on Reddit. And like I said before, I've never really used Reddit, especially for crochet stuff. So I even know that kind of thing happened there. And I checked it out. And I was really surprised to find, or see rather, how many people are on there. There's almost 2 million people on the subreddit crochet, and a couple 100,000, I believe, on like various amigurumi and a bunch of other ones. So it is a very active, alive, and well place to be. So I immediately signed up, made a little account under my name, Knotty Bear Studio. I didn't want to hide anything. And I joined a couple different places, and I was not disappointed. I was immediately hit with a bunch of things. It's kind of like the wild, wild west of like crochet or social media. And at this point in my business journey, my marketing journey, I really enjoy social medias that are a little bit more relaxed. I don't have to worry about algorithms or scheduling and things like that, kind of like Pinterest. I kind of just post it and go. Reddit definitely has that vibe, but it feels a lot more unrestricted and just a little bit wild. And I saw a bunch of things. Little mushroom butts, so cute. Oh my god, squeeze, squeeze. I saw patterns and people asking for help, and patterns written in ways that I've never even seen before as an amigurumi designer. I didn't know people were writing patterns like this. It was truly mind-blowing, along with a bunch of other funny things people had posted, and I'm really enjoying myself. So that kind of gave me the idea to turn on the camera and jump on Reddit and go look at some of these posts with all you, kind of laugh and maybe be a little bit judgy. I do want to just say that to any of these people who I'm talking about, pattern designers or whatever, it's all in good fun. I don't mean to be mean. I know we all have our different backgrounds and things, but sometimes things are just funny or really poorly made, and it's okay to be a little bit judgy, maybe just a little bit, but like I said, it's all out of love. But I'm really excited for this one. If you can't tell, I can't stop smiling. So let's jump onto Reddit and see what we find. All right, so I've opened up Reddit, for better or worse, no turning back now. I pulled up a couple different posts that I wanted to talk about that I saw last night when I was going through these that I think were interesting and I wanted to talk about first. So this first one here, the user says, first time using a pattern and I can't read it at all. So this person is going into this blindly. They're a new crocheter, probably, at least new to amigurumi, and they see this and go, what the heck? And I've personally never actually seen a pattern written this way. However, it did make sense to me once I looked at it. But they say, sorry for the bad quality. I first purchased this pattern and I had no idea what it means. I've seen patterns before, but they look nothing like this. Could someone please explain? So if we click the thing here, we look in, hopefully you can see that. Right off the start, it says H, which maybe I'm not cluing in, but that's the round. I'm not sure what H stands for. 1, so round 1. And then MR, which is usually magic ring. And then 6X, which means 6 times. What that person's looking for is probably a single crochet. X looks like a times, which makes me think 6 times, but they don't say 6 times of what. So this step to me says magic ring, 6 single crochets in it. The second one says H2 6V, which is where I clued into what was happening here. So the V is also very confusing. It doesn't say if you're using single crochets. To be honest, if this was the pattern I used first, I probably wouldn't be where I am now. I probably would have quit crochet altogether and given up, because this is very confusing. However, what I'm getting from this, and correct me if I'm wrong, I haven't done a lot of crochet what are they called? Charts, symbols. It's like an older style of doing things. However, I will say, looking at those charts, I've used a couple before. They can be really intimidating to look at, but it is actually kind of really badass. They have this chart of just random symbols, and if you know how to read it, it's a full crochet pattern. But that aside, I think this is a mix of maybe someone who is more used to charts making a written crochet pattern, and they are combining the two. Now, I would have assumed that at the beginning of this pattern, which I can't see, there would be some kind of chart saying what each thing means. But in those symbols and things, X means a certain thing, V would mean increase, which is what 6V means. I believe it's 6 increases, although it doesn't say, again, that you're single crocheting or what they want you to do. I know usually in amigurumi it's single crochet, but this is wild. I'm not sure where this person got their reference, and this kind of shows the issue with like there being no standard for pattern making, really. It's kind of just like a free-for-all. You kind of just learn as you go. And again, I don't want to judge this person, but this would drive me crazy. If I was beginning, I would just give up, put my hands up, say that's enough. Thankfully, someone did answer this person the other day, and hopefully they made whatever this was making. It looks like maybe a rabbit or something. Very cute though. All right, so this next one is kind of on par with that last one. If I was a new crocheter, I'd be so confused by this. But the person posed saying, I need help with reading this pattern, how to increase from a 7 chain. Familiar with the terms, it can do increase in the magic ring, not sure how to do it on a chain. So if we look at this one, it does say R1, round 1, chain 7, and then it says increase, 3 single crochets, 2 slip stitches. So this is very confusing, and personally as a amigurumi designer, where I make my patterns, if I do something that works in rows and starts with a chain, I'll usually just say like chain whatever and then have that on its own line. I don't actually usually include it as the first row, and then I'll just say at the end if I want you to turn, if I want you to chain 1, any information there. But this one just goes right into it. I totally get their confusion. They did their chain 7 and then it says increase and then it's like, well, what's an increase at the end of a chain? Do I just chain 2 more? But obviously this person, without saying it, you are supposed to turn. And then I guess they also don't say that you usually skip the first stitch. So if I was doing the math here, chain 7, turn, skip the first stitch, then increase, 3 single crochet, 2 slip stitches, but they just didn't put there. They do put the next line to turn and chain, so I guess they just missed it here. But it's little things like this, and I know this stuff kind of happens, but if you get someone who's new to crochet or hasn't worked in this specific style in rounds or rows rather, they would get really confused, which is totally understandable. And this kind of stuff I'm sure happens all the time, but at the very least we get a little bit of enjoyment. Thankfully this one also someone commented and explained what was happening here, and hopefully they got to make their wings or whatever it was successfully. I just saw this one when I was scrolling through, and if you know me, you know Snorlax is my favorite Pokemon, and this is a like life-size beanbag version, which is amazing. It's so cute. I love this so much. Just saw this. Would anyone have the pattern or help figuring it out? Need to make this. Oh my god, I totally understand that. Obviously, I love Snorlax as well. I have Snorlax things everywhere. He is a big sleepy bear. Very relatable. Just looking here, be mindful that the original creators spent like $1,000 on materials alone. I completely believe that. I'm sure the polyfill alone would be expensive and all that yarn, and not to mention your time, although could be kind of worth it. I don't know, but I thought I'd throw that in there because it's super cute. All right, so as we scroll along here, I actually found another pattern, and this one is confusing for a few different reasons. Again, it does this weird X and V kind of situation like the one before, which I guess is a thing. I've just never personally run into it before. It does make sense. I'm sure it's like a generational difference, but moreover, I'm looking at this and what I see here is just super messy design and really confusing. I can only imagine what the rest of the pattern looks like. I'm not sure how much I can share of this. I might have to maybe blur some of it out, but it is posted, so it's not like I did it. But it's just like, I know I'm a graphic designer and sometimes I'm also a Virgo and a little bit of a perfectionist. However, this really hurts to look at. It is just so confusing. Immediately brings me back to like math class or school or something when I look at this. It's like the poor design, the charts, just really confusing, and immediately shuts my creative mind down. I cannot do patterns like this, so I totally get why this person was just asking for help, what to do, decipher this pattern for me. It makes no sense. I'm right there with you. It does look like people were able to kind of help you there, decipher it, so hopefully you got to make your capybara. But yeah, that's just crazy. Bad design, or good design rather, makes a huge difference. The other thing I've noticed is spacing. It's just kind of out the window. Nobody's spacing things. A few of these, it's just everything's like kind of just one line. I don't understand why. Round 4, behind the inner side, 18, which I guess means either the front or the back loop. I'm not entirely sure which one. I would assume that's what it's saying, behind the inner sides. Let me know in the comments below if that makes sense to you, because it does not really to me, but that's the only thing I can think of. The pattern does have abbreviation list in the beginning, and it does say to include back loop only. So it's weird that they didn't use it like that, if that's what they mean. These things are super interesting. Like I said, I design most of my amigurumi, so I don't get to use a lot of these patterns, so I find it always super intriguing to look and see how other people are writing their patterns in not so good ways and some interesting style choices for sure. Why are we not spacing? Why are we adding some spaces here? Look at this mess. It is just one line, hardly any spaces. Doesn't help the fact that it doesn't really make any sense. I can understand why this person was completely befuddled by this. Round 1, 6 chain, which again is just another way to put it. I don't know why I like chain 6. It does something to my brain, but that doesn't really matter. It does say to skip the first stitch, so that is good. 4 single crochet, 3 in the same stitch, 3 increase for a total of 12 stitches. That only leaves 3 single crochet together, which makes a total of 7. There's nowhere left to the increase to go. So let me try and decipher this and actually take a look and see what they mean. Even better, let me grab some yarn real quick and we will try this out. Do I have some yarn? Do I have some yarn, he says. Just reach out in any direction. So we're gonna chain 6. So after doing a little bit of testing out, this actually does work. I think the confusion for this person, they didn't understand that you would turn and work on the other opposite side of the chain. It actually doesn't say that. I know there's very minimal spaces on these to actually include information, but that stuff is so important. I'm always really worried that I'm not including enough information. That's why I have a tech editor and stuff to make sure that things make sense in my patterns. And I think that was the confusion here, is that they just didn't understand that the 3 single crochet in the last stitch actually acts as like a turning stitch so that you can start working in the underside of the chain. So it does technically work, although very confusing, and just like throw in a space every once in a while. Let's just try it. Let's see what happens. It's so wild. We've all been here for sure. This is one of those things when you first start out crochet and you're not worried about the techniques or anything. I did this with yarn over and yarn under. I didn't even know what that meant. It doesn't really matter, but this is one of those things. This person is crocheting their amigurumi inside out, which again isn't the end of the world. It will turn the pattern a little bit different from what the original pattern maker probably intended, and your stitches are facing the wrong way, so I think the stitches look neater the proper way. But again, it doesn't really matter. It's just always fun to see people, little baby crocheters. This was posted a while ago now, so maybe they have since changed their methods or not. Like I said, it doesn't really matter, but it is fun to see this picture and just kind of cringe a little bit because it's so different from what I do. Not to be judging, again, do what you want to do, don't come for me, but I thought that was fun. Speaking of things that we learn over time, this person is having some issues with holes in their amigurumi, which I think is something at some point all of us have dealt with. It is usually to do with tension. As a new crocheter or amigurumi artist, you might go off of the hook size that is recommended on the yarn. However, for amigurumi, you usually want to go down 2 hook sizes, kind of want to play with it to figure it out. So I would say that this person just needs to adjust their crochet hook. Again, another thing you learn with time, and I just love seeing everyone coming together to help each other on here is really kind of awesome. Okay, this one I just randomly stumbled upon just now, and it's from 4 months ago, and it's called Happy Day After Halloween. Trick-or-treaters had over 150 amigurumi to choose from last night. I'm not going to read this whole post because there's a lot of stuff there. However, the gist of it looks like they made all these amigurumi And then they gave them out as Halloween gifts or whatever, treats, I guess. And that is kind of mind-blowing and amazing that this person would do that. Yarn is not cheap. Your time is not worth nothing. The idea that they would crochet all of this and then give it away for Halloween is kind of mind-blowing and awesome at the same time. I love seeing this. This is such a cool, fun, different thing to do for Halloween. This is the stuff that I'm not seeing on like Instagram and things, this kind of more community and behind the scenes kind of stuff, and it really makes me happy. So hopefully you're enjoying this as well. If you're on Reddit, let me know what your favorite subreddits are and where else I should go to find more stuff like this, because I really enjoy it. Alright, so this one's just called Crochet Fail in brackets Y, and it says, I followed the pattern closely. I counted all my stitches. I can't understand why mine came out smaller than hers. First 3 pictures are before wet blocking over a plate. I'm just going to look at the picture. She has her hand on something. I'm not sure what this is even supposed to be. Maybe the start of an amigurumi, perhaps. Not the hat. Oh, the tiny little French beret. I used a 5mm hook instead of a 5.5, but it's never given me problems before. That's a much bigger difference than just a size half a millimeter for sure. Oh my god, I had to see the third picture. The little hat. Oh, it's adorable. You should wear it regardless. I just want to see if there was a reason for this. This is why we do a gauge swatch. It's true. If you are into garment crochet, gauge swatching is definitely very important. Whoever you are, it still looks really cute, and I think you did a fantastic job. What happened? Oh, this is hilarious. There's no information more than just this photo, but what more do we need? That is too funny. It's a hat for a cone head, apparently. Is there a crochet subreddit for just fails and stuff? Because I would totally be into that. At what point do you think this is too big? It's true. At what point were you crocheting and saying something is wrong here? It looks like they just went with it, trusted the process, maybe a little bit too much. Hopefully they can frog it and get their yarn back. Okay, so there is the reason there. Did the pattern say to double crochet? If so, it might be written in UK terms, the dreaded UK versus American terms, because that would be an actual single crochet, which would make it probably twice, or if not, actually probably triple the size. So that is why she ended up with this rather funny and entertaining fail of a winter hat. So this one here is kind of interesting, and you might be wondering what this is, and I'm actually not talking about the fact that it was necessarily a fail. This person is or was new to crochet, and it's actually a wooble. It's supposed to be a fox, which I know looks kind of funny, but they kind of said that they had trouble with it and stuff, and that's kind of something I want to talk about a little bit too. With these like crochet kits and things, you never really know what you're going to get, the type of yarn, the crochet hook you're going to get. The instructions could be confusing. I've heard good things about woobles. I've actually never tried them before. This doesn't look like a woobles yarn to me. Maybe they used a different one. Oh, it actually does say they bought the yarn from a thrift store. But anyways, they're proud that they made this, as they should be, as their first thing. Listen, if you can make whatever you can get out there, this was my first amigurumi make, and it is a leg. Get your mind out of the gutter. It is a monkey leg.
Sure, Jan.
And as you can see, I got the holes here, the tried and true holes, and this was my first attempt, and then once I figured out what I was doing and how this was working, I redid it, and I made a little monkey for my friend. Anyways, be wary of crochet kits if you're just getting started. Really make sure it's something that it comes highly recommended, and use the yarn they suggest and stuff, and also don't get too discouraged if you fail, because we've all been there. Clearly. Let's just scroll through the subreddit r amigurumi and see what's happening on here. We have Chick and Fabulous, which I love this amigurumi. The sassy little like leg twist is adorable. This is really cute. Whoever made this pattern, good job if it is a pattern. Really cute. I can't wait to come on here and post some of my own stuff and interact with all of you, because this is such a fun space to be in. Like I said, it feels very low-key, very mellow. I don't have to worry too much about, constantly checking in or scheduling and things like that, which is always nice. I'm kind of obsessed with this red fox. This is a really cool design. I don't know if there's a pattern for it or if it was just freehanded. Either way, really well done to whoever did that. That's so cool. Oh, a Jinx amigurumi. They designed this one. Super cool. I don't do a lot of human designs. I did do a Link somewhere around here last week. However, that was kind of like my second one. But this is really well done again. I love the braids and the hair. This is super cool. I love the show as well. Arcane, really good show. Definitely watch it. But super talented. I love this kind of stuff. I love it. It's so cute. Oh my god, it's adorable. Whoever made this, good job. Props to you. One of the first lessons I learned before I did any amigurumi when we first picked up crochet, we were at the cottage with my husband and I, and he actually got into crochet before I did. He took a class because we liked the look of some blankets that we saw. So he took a class and I kind of jumped into it as well. And we decided for one of our first projects ever, aside from maybe some tea towels and some granny squares, to try making our own blanket. And we bought the same yarn, we had the same hooks. So we said, what could go wrong? We'll just each make half and then we'll just sew it down the middle, which is not the best idea. Regardless, however, we didn't know what tension was, and it sounds like this person here, this user here, is also having the same issue. Any idea why this is bigger than this? Use the same number of rows, same hook, same everything, but one is much bigger. I'm thinking of frogging it and starting over, which you might have to. You counted the rows, everything makes sense. And like I said, it is definitely tension that is the culprit here. It's something we don't normally think of, especially as newer crocheters and stuff. I certainly didn't. And when we came to put our blankets together, each half, mine was like 4 inches shorter than his was, and couldn't figure it out. And obviously we learned that it was tension. Mine is much tighter than his. It led to completely different sizes. For those of you wondering, yes, we ended up sewing it together. It had a bit of a wave in it. It used to sit in this chair here for Fiji, and then eventually we threw it out because he ate a hole in it. But it did get a lot of use out of it for what it was. And obviously it was a learning experience, just like this person here. You will never forget that tension is very important. Okay, wow, my hat's off to this person. This is amazing. It says, as promised, the rest of my daughter's crochet D&D Christmas gifts that Nana made. A griffin mount, which I'm looking at here, is just amazing. It's so detailed, and it looks like she could probably actually sit on it, which is even cooler. An owlbear and a baby owlbear, which I'm going to check here in a second. I've actually made an owlbear of my own. He's there somewhere. That is from D&D. I know him from Baldur's Gate, the video game. Let's just click and see it. Oh my god, so many cute things. A baby dragon, and of course, beholder with possible eye stalks. With posable, I was like posable eye stalks, so they move around. This is so cool. Everyone's so cute, but that griffin, hats off to Nana. You did a fantastic job. What an amazing Christmas gift that would be. All right, so I just saw this post called a rant with a frowny face. It was posted by Hey Yay. If I said that right. Great username, by the way. It's insane to see how many people are pretending to be me. Posting my bear glasses holder on Facebook. I've received so many DMs about these profiles, and honestly, it's sad and odd how many people enjoy farming likes. It feels awful to constantly see fake profiles using your photo. Totally get that. I don't know what it is. I appreciate everyone that stood up for me, telling those fake profiles and linking them in the original Reddit post. I mean, I totally understand that. At least it's not a pattern that's being stolen, because that is a huge issue right now. We're seeing a lot of people just straight up stealing other designers' patterns and claiming them as their own. So at least it was just a photo, but I understand why this is infuriating, especially on Facebook. It is just so bad on there, and Etsy as well is really bad for this. So totally get your pain, but those are really cute glasses holders or glasses holder. I would love to make one of those for my husband, maybe. This one just says, I was crocheting an embryon and accidentally made a penis, which is pretty funny. I don't know how that happens. I've definitely never been there before. What a strange thing. My fault for upping the gauge and the yarn and hook, but I wasn't expecting it to be this big. And this happens a lot. I often say, because I use a really thin cotton yarn, it's like a DK weight or a sport weight, something like that. And my crochet patterns are a little bit smaller. You can see them up there. With that said, if you were to make them in a chenille yarn or a chunky blanket yarn, Snorlax that size would be like this big in my cotton yarn, but there you can see he's like 3 feet. It makes a huge difference just upping even a little bit. So definitely keep that in mind, or else you're going to end up with a giant plushie like this one here, which is still adorable and totally worth it, but might take up a little bit more room than you were expecting. Little mission butts, so cute. Oh my god, squeeze, squeeze. What I wanted to make versus what I made. I'm excited for this one. I love Studio Ghibli, love Spirited Away. I've made a few different things myself. Oh no! Oh, I love it. I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to make fun of this person. We've all been there, like I said. I'm not at all coming for you. This is hilarious. Thank you so much for posting it. Oh, girl. You got the breast stitches is good. The eye placement. What happened? The eye placement, it could use some work. Oh my god, that is too good. I love this. Thank you for sharing your attempt at the radish spirit. So cute. I want him. I need more of this. Tell me where I can find more of this, because this is what I need in my life. This is just too cute. One of my favorite things to do on most things is to look at the comments, because usually they don't disappoint. This person just says, I dated a guy that looked like that. I don't know if that's a read on you or them, to be honest. Thanks for letting us know. So it looks like my camera? It looks like my camera is about to die, so I'm going to wrap this up. I saw this one that someone just posted 33 minutes ago, asking what does it mean wrong side and right side? And I think what this is someone is trying pattern making for the first time, which round of applause to you. Even more so for, it looks like, getting some help. So it's not just that they were like, I'm going to be a pattern maker and put whatever out there, and then you see what we looked at before, ending up with a bunch of very confusing patterns. So applause to them for getting it tech edited or looked at least. And I think my answer to this, the right side or the wrong side, what we spoke of before, just making sure that you are working in the round with the quote-unquote right side of the stitches facing out. But I think sometimes we over-abbreviate things and make it more confusing than it needs to be. So I'm glad someone is at least saying, hey, maybe try this or do things a little bit differently. But like I said before, good for them for at least reaching out and having someone look at it. If you are considering making your own patterns, definitely have someone look at your work. Even for me, I've made like multiple different patterns. I have like 10 official ones out there, and I still always send my work to my tech editor to look over. It's always good to have a second set of eyes on it. So I'm glad to see people doing that so we don't end up with some wanky crochet patterns, which there are a lot of. I'm gonna end the video here, but I had a lot of fun jumping on Reddit with all of you. I think I'm really gonna like it on here. Like I said before, if there's any subreddits or people I should be following, definitely let me know in the comments down below. But this was a lot of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Please consider giving me a like or even subscribing, and who knows, maybe I'll make a follow-up to this one day in the future. But anyways, thank you all so much for watching. I will catch you in the next one. Stay naughty.